One second, let me start the recording. Okay, good. So a database is something like an organized way where you can store your data. Just assume that you need to store students, or you are running a school and you need to store all these data about the student, teachers, subjects, curriculums, and all these things into the in your application or somewhere, right? What generally used to do, before the computer came, so they used to maintain a register, right? And in register they used to make a column, like, okay, first column would be something like student name. So they draw something like this in second. Okay, yeah. So they generally, draw a column kind of these things, right? And they will put a row, right? And they will do something like, a student name, or before that I will say serial number, or you would say the roll number, whatever it designates, that 1 2 3, and then student number A, whatever B and C, like this it will go on. Then the address, then the standard, then phone number, email ID, whatever the stuff it is there, right? They will be storing like this. So previously people used to store like this. What is the benefit of using this? The benefit is that whatever the details, you will simply ask a student, what's your roll number? That's it. If you get the roll number, you can simply go through this column. Only this column you need to look up, and wherever you find, particular get the data of that particular row, and you get the information, right? Just the Excel sheet is also kind of a database, as you can say. It's not a database, it's a kind of yeah, you can call it as a database, but it's not that organized as you can do with your SQL databases like Oracle, MySQLs. So what does these kind of tool provides is, it gives you a space to create such kind of tables. These things, like this entire information, is called one table, and you can call this as a student table. And this table, you can put all these data. You can have another table as well. You can have something like suppose you need their what I would say, their fees structure or something, right? Where how much their fees they have given, what is the session and all. So roll number is here 1, so they can put something like 1, and the fees is 10,000 and paid for this month or not. Roll number 2 paid for this or not. So you can even have multiple tables, but you can get the information, like, okay, get a roll number of a student, you can get all this information from here. You can get all these information like fees and all. So this is called the keys. These are called the primary keys, or something like a distinguish. The column which helps you to uniquely identify a row is called the primary key. What actually it does, I mean, same student can't have same roll number, right? So in a same section, I would say, so in same section, roll number couldn't be same. It can't be that, right? So your roll number, if you ask someone, you can uniquely identify that particular student. What is that student, who is that, who is not, something like that, right? You can do these things, right? So MySQL provides you such facility. So there are many softwares in the market, MySQL, Oracle, Postgres, just read about all this. Microsoft's their MS SQL server. Then SAP has their SAP HANA, HANA, HANA. Very famous, the most famous is this one, the Oracle, but it is a paid. So generally company, most of the company does not prefer, because you have to pay for it. And MySQL is a free. It's a free database, and people use it. Even I use it, that's why. So I will be using MySQL database to store the data. I'll show you a few commands, how to what are the things you can do with your database table, how you can store, how you can retrieve, and then through the application how we can do that, that also I'll show you. So let's get it going. We'll remove these drawings. Perfect. So first thing what you need to do is, I really doubt that everybody have installed till now. How many of you have installed the Eclipse till now? Honestly speak about it. Have everyone installed Eclipse? Try the program. Any program did you try? Okay. Oh, seems like everybody does. Okay. So same thing, you need to install the MySQL software. Go to this link and select your operating system. If it's Ubuntu, it's the Debian, or it's Apple Mac, or if it's a Windows, select Microsoft Windows. And yeah, so if you select here, automatically it will select the particular version and all these things. So download the latest version. If it's a 32-bit, select this one. If it's a 64-bit, select this one. Click on download. It will take you to the Oracle website where you need to sign up. So if you haven't signed up before, just create your account. It will ask few basic things. Create your account, log into this, and you can download this software. So you need to download this software first. After that, you need to install this software. While installing, it will ask you for password. So just put your password as root. Put as a password, just to remember that, ROOT. Whenever it asks you for the password, put that root. So it's generic, like other applications. So how you install it, right? Same way you can install this also, and it will ask you for the password. What password you want to give it to the MySQL? You give it as a root. So root will be your username, root will be your root password. Once you finish the installation, go to start, or in Mac, whatever it is, right? Launch MySQL. If you search it, you will see that command line client something like will come, MySQL 5.6, and it will ask you for the password. Whatever the password you have given, I have given root, so I'm giving root. Once you give this, it will show something command like MySQL, and here we can create the table. But before we create the tables, right, see, there could be a situations or scenarios where I can have the same type of table for different purposes. I can have department for students, I can have department for teachers, I can have department for workers. So department table could be for many. So that's why in MySQL, before we create the table, we need to create the database. So actually database is a upper level of table. So in a database you can create the table. So it's an upper hierarchy. It creates a workspace. It gives you memory where you can create your different tables, and your table will be attached to your database name. So you could have a different same table name, but different databases name has to be there. It's just like your package in Java. In package, you can write the same class in other packages also. It just behaves as a package. So first thing what we need to do is we need to create database. So we'll say create database. Just focus on the commands. It's a simple command. Create database. I'll say Java session. Okay, and I'll put everything ends with this semicolon. Now I will show whether database got created or not. So for that we have a command show databases, and as you can see here, Java session has been created, right? I will go inside the database. So we'll use, right, like use Java Java session. Now if I do here show tables, now I'm inside the database. If I do the show table, it's saying empty set, there is no table. So we will create the table. We will create table student. Okay, then we'll start the parenthesis, then we will put something like roll number integer, will put as a 3-digit, it can't be okay, 3-digit it can be max. Then name varchar. I can't tell you about SQL in much details because it's out of curriculum. I think you should be knowing, but I'm just covering so that you can understand what actually I'm doing. I'll give you one reference link if you want to learn about basic SQLs. It's a very easy to learn. I think it will hardly take 1 to 2 days to learn SQL. It's really very easy. If you are interested, I'll give you the link. You can go through and you can learn about these syntax. So it will take maximum 20 characters. And name, and then email is also, let it be varchar, maybe 100. That's it. Okay, so now if I do show tables, you will see that table in Java session, it is showing that Java session database, there is a table as a student. I want to see what are the columns are there, so I can say student, describe a student. Sorry, I think the spelling is wrong. Describe a student. As you can see, fields are there: roll number, name, email ID, and the types are this. So if I want to say, okay, whether data is present in the table or not, I can do select star from student. I'll see there is no data right now in the database. So what I can do is I need to insert the data. So there is a syntax for that: insert into student table values. So first is roll number 1, first is, let it be Amika student. Then I'll put what is that second field is roll number, name, and then the email ID. So amika@gmail.com. Fine. So now this is saying that okay, one row inserted, and if I do select start from table, you will see roll number. Just now see, just like it's a register, you are reading a register. Roll number column is there, name column is there, email is there. So roll number 1 Amika, and amika@gmail.com, as you can see here, right? Same way you can insert other student data as well. So 2, I'll put and Satyajit@gmail.com. We'll put one more. Teak. Okay, so if I do select star from student, you will see 3 columns. So roll number, name, email ID, right? So what actually this command does, select star from table, means star is a while character. It says select everything from this table. If I want only the name, I will say select name from student. So it will show only the names. If I need roll number, I will say only need roll number. So what is that column name? ROLLNUMBER, right? Oh man, typing. Yeah, see roll number. If I want roll number and name, I can say okay, roll number and name. If I want everything, I would say star. So star means I want everything. Other than that, also you can do something like select max of roll number from student. So it will select the maximum, whatever the roll number is. You can do plenty of things. I mean, you can count how many students are there. So count of star you can do. There are 3 total students are present. There are many utilities, APIs are there, and SQL tutorial. I'll give you a link if you guys are interested. I think W3 schools and tutorial points. I'm telling you, it won't take one day. I think one day means 2 to 3 hours. I think you can do the mastery in this. So there are two links. I would say prefer to go to W3 Schools. It's a basic tutorial. W3 Schools, go through here, and also if you want to just little bit more detail, here it is there. Just go through all these syntax. If you see here, functions are there, and if you go up here, so basic syntax, how to select, you query select, right? So select column name comma column name from table name, and select star from table name, right? So it will show you the demo database as well. So it will say, see, customer ID, customer name, customer, all these data are there, right? And if you want to select some column, you can select customer name, ID, and this. Even you can try it yourself. You click on the try it yourself, right? So customer name, city from customers. So run SQL, if you do, it is selecting everything, right? And if I do select a star from this, you will see it is selecting everything. You can also do the count of how many customers are there. If you write, it will tell you 99, 91 customers are there. It's just like inbuilt SQL for you. You do not have to go anywhere. You do not have to spend time in inserting data, setting up all these things. If you are feeling lazy, if you don't want to set up all these things, you can simply go to this W3 Schools, try it yourself. Other than that, other many are there, how to delete table, how to update data, how to do other operations. So you can how to insert into. So how to insert that data, just now I had shown you. So insert into table values, whatever the fields are there, you can do that. So there are many things what you can do, joining the tables, what is primary key, foreign key. If you go through this, I think for being a developer, it's more than enough. Okay, too much about SQL. So I hope everybody knows about it. What I will be covering with the help of Java is that I will be covering only 4 things. Select the data from the table, insert the data from into the table, update the data, delete the data. These 4 operations, these are called the CRUD operations. CRUD. C for create, R for read, U for update, D for delete. So CRUD operations I will be doing from Java applications. I will be showing you that how we can connect to the MySQL, how we can get the data from the MySQL, how we can insert the data into the MySQL database, and all these things, right? Everybody okay with the database? Great. So yeah, so what I will be doing is I will be showing you step by step what are the things you will be needing in order to write a SQL connection from the Java, how you can do that. Okay. There are many things which will be there to write it. You do not have to remember. Don't think that okay, it's a little bit complex string we will be using it. You don't need to use that. You can take the reference of internet, how to connect to so if you go here only, I think in tutorials point only, right? So JDBC connection. Okay, so JDBC connection example, if you write it, I think the first thing it will come as a yeah, I think you can refer to this one. Yeah, so it will tell you in all these details what are the things we need to do. So rather than speaking, I'll tell you, yeah, so what are the things we need to do in order to connect to the database. I'll minimize this first. The thing what we need is, see, just think it, your Java application is running in your Eclipse. You are running your application here in Eclipse. Your MySQL is running on some other remote server. Right now it's on my machine, so it's a local host. What I would say, this is in the same system. Suppose my laptop and your laptop is connected through the LAN, and your IP address is something like 192.168.1.1 or something like that. Your IP address is, your machine is running on that, and you install the MySQL on your machine. I can also access that MySQL from here. I can simply provide that IP address to your machines, and I can use that MySQL. So MySQL is just like a server. Just think like as a server which will be listening for the request. Whoever the request is try to connect to the MySQL, it will ask for the credentials, username and password, and that user will be logged into that particular database, and they can do all the stuff they want. So your application has to communicate with the MySQL. So the communication, so your Java, see, MySQL can connect to Java application. It can connect to PHP, ASP, uh, Scala, Ruby, all these kind of applications it supports. So the question is, Java, MySQL is written in some other language. Your Java is written in Java language. Your application is written in Java language. How do you think it will communicate? What do you think the possibility solutions are? So there is a driver, what we say it in Java knowledge, it says it is called as a driver. Now what actually that driver does is, whatever the request you want to say in your language, it will take that request, that driver, and it will compile into the MySQL way, and it will send it to the MySQL. MySQL will respond again with some result, and it will give it to you. So that MySQL driver is built by MySQL team for different languages. So if you're using Java, for Java they have built a driver in Java for Java. For PHP they have built, for JSP the ASP they have built. So what I will be concerned about is the driver. I need to download a driver for MySQL connecting to Java. So what do you need? You need Java MySQL connection, or I would say the connector jar. Search something like this. You will get in either get into the Maven, or you can so you can simply download the jar. I'll give you this link. Go to this link, download this jar. So once you download it, as you can see here, it will come here, right? I have already, so I'll cancel it. Just let me get that jar. So once you download it, right, this jar file, you can, what you will be doing, I'll just tell you. Let it open. 1 second. Okay, no, again it is opening this. 1 second. Okay, so training. Okay, so I think JDBC, Hibernate, JDBC, yeah, JDBC, okay, lib. Okay, so yeah, so what I will do is, I'll go to this particular location, copy that jar. If you download it, you will get it anyway. So lib, which one is there? MySQL connector. There are two things. 1 second. Okay, MySQL connector. Okay, this is the right one. Okay, so yeah, so whatever you download, right, you copy it from there, and I'll close this just not to confuse you guys. Okay, so once you copy it, right, where I have written the code? Oh, I haven't written, right? Okay. I'll give the name as JDBC. Okay, so what you do is right click on this, go to there and create a folder, some name as a lib, and paste that jar, whatever jar you had downloaded. So create a folder inside, the right click on this, new, create a folder and put that particular jar. This is your driver. This is provided by the MySQL, and it does that translation work, your Java to MySQL. It does this work. Now this jar I have to add to the class path. I have to add to my application context. I have to tell the application that okay, you need to use these jars. So what I will do is I'll right click on this, build path, and click on add to build path. See, these things are very important. If you miss it, will your application will never work. So just be careful here. Okay, once you do this, you will see that there will be one folder kind of will there, reference library will come, and inside that you can see MySQL connector Java. If you expand further, you will see all the code these guys has written. See, so all these compiled code dot class files. See, as you can see here, all these are dot class files. So these are the helper classes which will help you your Java application to write the code into that. So let's see. We'll create a package com dot JDBC dot example, and we'll create one class JDBC man. Yeah, JDBC example. What is my intention? My intention is to get these three data. SQL select star from student. I want all these data. It is right now in the table, right? I want to print it here. I want to get it in this application. How can I do that? So there is a way through which you can do, and just bear with me. The steps is a little bit clumsy. I'll explain you line by line. Okay, so just let me get that string name, because it's not easy to remember. Yeah, I'll make it a little bit simpler than this. So just let me get this. Great. I'll remove few things from here what I don't need. Just hold on for some second. So what I will be doing is I'll remove this. I don't need all these things. Okay, what I need is com SQL driver. So class dot for name. Perfect. Okay, so db URL. URL I'll put. What is the table name? Java session. So driver is perfect, fine. No longer I need this. Okay, so okay, one thing I should have copied. Okay, second. Okay, great. I think we are almost done. So okay, so first step, this would be our step 1, this would be our step 2, this would be our step 3, and then this would be our step 4 would be this, step 5 will be this. Okay, so good. What actually I am doing here, I'll remove these things from here. I don't need And great. So all the errors is removed. What actually I'm doing? Let me first, tell you. As you can see here, the import. What I'm doing is I'm doing Java SQL driver manager. So if you see here, these why it is happening like that? Okay, yeah. So these Java SQL driver manager, Java SQL. I'll remove this also. I don't need all these classes. What I'm using, driver manager or this connection or the statement. These are the classes, Java classes, which is provided by this particular jar, MySQL connector jar. And using this connection object, using this statement object, we can connect to MySQL. Using this statement, we can create the statement, SQL statement, whatever we need to retrieve the data. And that's why I'm importing. As you can see here, import java.sql.star. I'm telling whatever the class it is which is in Java SQL.star, right? Bring all these to this application, and we can do that. The first thing what I need to do is I need to load the driver. As I told you, who will be working, right? So if you're driving a bus or vehicle, right, the first thing is driver need to get inside the car, right? It's something like that. Class.for name, what it does is it loads the driver. Do not worry about the in-depth details. You do not get the chance to write all these things every day, because wherever you go in your work, I think this database setup and all these things will be already done. It's just for interview sake of purpose or understanding purpose. Nobody is expecting you to write a JDBC syntax, how to connect to the database, right? But you should be knowing how it does, how it happens. So this driver, right, com MySQL JDBC driver. As you can see, com MySQL JDBC, here it is, the package is there, and there will be one class as a driver. So yeah, here as you can see here, driver.class is there. I cannot open it because it's a compiled source. So this driver driver.class file, right, this actually is gets loaded here. So it's, you are not doing nothing, you're just creating an object of this. This is one other way to create the object, class.for name. You are loading that particular class, that driver class. Once the driver is up, you need to get the connection to your MySQL. You need to tell the MySQL that okay, I want to connect to you, right? So okay, as you can see, we have a database as a Java session, right? So I'll mark and I'll copy it, and I'll put this name as a okay. So IP address, yeah. What is the second thing? We need to open an connection. No, open connection means, so for everything we need this driver, and this driver manager, right? Driver manager dot get connection. I'm telling you, okay, give me the connection, and it will put into the connection object. A connection object is nothing but this particular connection. So this connection object actually gets the connection for the SQL, from the SQL. What actually it information needs? It needs that what kind of database you are using. I'm telling okay, MySQL. Where exactly it is running? I'm telling localhost, or you can, if you're very writing about IP address, I'm writing 127.0.0.1. I think everybody knows about this. This is a local host, self pointing to the same self, this one, right? So either you write localhost or you write 127.0.0.1, I think, right? So I always prefer to write it localhost only, but I'll show you it will work for 127 as well. And this is the IP address where your MySQL is running. So maybe suppose your MySQL is running on some other remote location, on some other web server in America or in India or UK or Japan, right? That IP address you need, and by simply giving the IP address provided by the database name, what database you want to connect to. So Java sessions, right? Now if you want to connect to, you must have been the authorized or authentication to do that, right? So you will be needing username and the password. I am putting username as a root, and password is also, my password is as a root only. So this will give me the connection object. This connection object is connection con equals to null, and that con is getting filled by this one, right? So I'm telling that okay, this connection is now created. Using this connection object, I can execute my query. What query I can execute? Something like this: select star from student, and it should give me these data. So what I am telling that for that I need to create one query. So query, what I will be creating, I need this SQL connection to create the query. So connection dot create statement, and go into the statement object, and then what you can do is you can create a string SQL. So I'll just write in same line. I'll just remove this. So create your query something like a string SQL, and select, you will see star. I'll rather copy paste so that you guys will be yeah. So we'll copy paste here whatever the query we are using. So select a star from student, and it should give me all these rows, right? First row, second row, third row, and these rows. So what actually I have written a statement, right? SQL. I need to execute this statement. So to execute this statement, whatever the connection we have got it, right? Create a statement STL. So statement dot execute query. What is that query? SQL. SQL means this query. So I would say SQL query just to, yeah. So string SQL query, and I will be executing this SQL query here. And once it executes, it will return these data, right? These three sets of data. In Java, there is no way to get the data type of such things, right? I mean, it will be row, right? One row, two row, third row. So these row will be there. So in order to do that, result set is a kind of it's a MySQL provided that it will be holding all these data, all three data in their own format. Now how we can retrieve, right? So as it's containing the multiple data, three rows, right? We can iterate over this like something like this. rs dot next we will be doing. This is the while loop I am writing, and in while loop you can say okay till this has some data, right? So rs dot next, if you do, it will keep checking whether the next row is present or not, whether next row is present or not, till the time it gets the next row, right? It will keep on executing. And in this one we need to retrieve the data from the result set. So what we can do is rs dot next. So get int and the column number 1, right? So the column number 1 will be the roll number. So I will say int roll number equal to rs dot get int. So sorry, this will be int. Okay. The second thing is string name, right? And that will be get string, and the second column will be that one, right? And then string email, then rs dot get string again, that is also a type of string only. Yeah. So I got all these information, and I can print it out now. Record retrieved from student database. So roll is roll number, name is name, and email. Great. Okay, fine. Let's see. Perfect. So as you can see here, roll number 1, name Amika, email address amika@gmail.com, again retrieve from the database, name 2 Satyajit, name 3 this one. So let's remove this one from here and put it something like here, and let's present it a little bit. Awesome. So see, so connecting to the database, here we are connecting here, and then creating the statement. Sorry, here we are connecting to the database like this, and then we are creating the statement, then we are executing it. You can write it here also. No, executing the query, and executing the query, a record retrieved from the database, roll number 1, roll number 2, roll number 3, and all these details we are getting. So these are suppose, so you insert one more record. Okay, let's see. Perfect, right? It's working, right? So this is how you can connect to the database. This is how you can, so this is in actual scenarios your any applications store the data or fetch the data. Right now this is only one operation what I have told you. This is called the read operation though. So there are 4 parts, right? CRUD. So this is a part of read where you can get the data from the database. Okay, so as you can see here, you can create you can get the data. Suppose same thing you can do if you want to insert, right? You can insert the data. You want to delete, you can delete the data. I will be covering these in next sessions, not today. So how we can insert, how can do, and I'll talk about different types of statements. There are other types of also. There is that is called the prepared statement. What is the difference? What is the benefit of using that? Then I'll tell you about the SQL injection, that how to prepare for prepared from attack SQL injections kind of thing. There is a attacking, hacking kind of things there. I'll tell you about that. So these things maybe I will be covering tomorrow. Other than that, this is all about SQL and connecting to the SQL. Any questions you can ask about this? Okay, so no question is there, then I would ask you guys to that tomorrow if you come to the session, right? I'm sending you this program. You can just I'll send you the mail, or I'll just push this code into the repository. Try to write the logic to insert the data into the database. So only one thing you need to change here, that is this. Simple. So whatever the SQL query you have written, everything will remain same. Only you are not getting the database, so data. So you will not be writing this statement. So only you need to execute query. That's all. So you will be writing like insert into student values and put some values and statement dot execute query. Okay, or I think execute update will be there to insert the data, and check yourself whether the data is going or not. If you need help with SQL query, I think I already gave you the link. You can go to that link. I think I sent only to Satyajit that one. Okay, sorry. So you can go to that particular link and you can execute. You can learn about these insert query, update query, delete query. Try to implement by yourself. If you face any problem, I'll definitely help you. But it will be good if you try by yourself. Do not worry about these things like how to do that. So I would just tell you about one thing. Do not try to write all these codes in one page. So I'll just tell you how we can achieve the reusability. So what I will do is I'll create one package, something like com.jdbc.common, and inside that I will write one class as a connection factory. And this connection factory, what it will do is that it will give me the connection. So I'll take out this code from here, connection statement. So I'll try, yeah. So what I will do is here is public static connection get connection. Inside this you write this code. So I'll tell you what I'm trying to do it. Okay, okay, so what I'm doing is you should be writing something like public static final driver. This is actually a good way to write it. I'm just, it's not necessary, but you should be doing something like this. Take out all the variable names, right? Whatever the variable values are there, right? Put it as a constant value, because it's never going to change. So write something like public static final string driver name, and then what, this one, public static final, not make it public, it should be private so that nobody can access from outside. Final string URL equals to, so this is my URL, then private okay, then private static okay. So in place of this, replace with URL. Okay, you don't have to do anything, and in place of this, driver name, and yeah. So yeah, instead of this use root and password, you can put it as a username. It's a password. Okay, so whatever the variables are there, it's there. Or it's another way to do that is, I would say, suggest you to write one more something like interface, and write something like JDBC connection properties, something like this, and put all these here. So yeah, there it is, public. So in interface, as I explained you, it can't be private, because you will be accessing it from outside. Okay, so tomorrow if something changes, right, you don't have to go and debug your code and all this, just simply go and change it here. And here you simply just JDBC connect, I think the name is wrong. Okay, so JDBC connection properties, right? So now instead of this, you can simply dot driver name, then this drop driver user, then this dot username, and this dot password. Great. So what you are doing is you are not exposing, you are not writing the variables here. So whenever something changes, right, password changes, simply go here, change your password. Simply database changes, go and change your. You don't have to debug the code, and you stay away from the code wherever your business logic is, right? Do not try to touch the business logic for everything. So here I am just writing public static connection, get connection, and what I need to do is private. I'll tell you what actually I'm trying to achieve. Once you understand, right, I mean, it will be, you will understand the importance of this connection. Okay. So yeah, so this will be here, and public static connection. What we will do is check if connection okay. So and this one, and then return connection. Okay, so we are done. I mean, what actually I am doing is I am writing a common method, connection, get connection. Whenever I need connection, right, I'll call this method to get the connection. I've created one static object of connection, and I'm checking if connection is null. So for the first time, I'll just make it as a null. So for the first time, the connection will be null, and if it is null, connection dot null, then I will create the connection, right? And I'll create the connection, and then I'll return the connection. Second time, suppose again the request comes, I don't have to create the connection because the connection is not null, and simply it will return the connection. So this is one benefit of that. And now how we can use it here, we can remove all these codes here. So we don't have to write this code, and a connection con is there, right? So you can simply say con equals to connection factory dot get connection. So instead of writing and creating that connection, simply I'm telling okay, con dot connection, I'll get the connection, and then everything will remain same. And if you execute now also, it will work as it is, whatever it was working, right? So so what actually it helps you, right? So today you are this is JDBC example for creating inserting getting the data, right? Tomorrow you are writing for inserting the data or deleting the data, right? You don't have to write the SQL statement every time creating the connection and all. You need to simply do this one, get the what I say, thus write the query and execute it. Even I would say, this statement also you should write into this only, the connection factory is there, right? So you can something like that, you can write it here. So public static, then statement, get statement, and provide the connection to it, because it will be requiring the connection. And whatever the code you are writing here, that statement dot create a statement, so it will be, this will be done by there. So you can do it here and write it, statement stmt equals to whatever the connection you are giving. So it will take this connection and return stmt. Okay, so you are okay. And here now, instead of doing all this stuff, you can simply say statement equal to connection factory dot get statement, and whatever the connection you got, right, pass that connection to it. So yeah, perfect, right? You can do something like this. Even I can make it a bit shorter, but ultimately what you need to execute the query statement, not the connection, right? You get the connection and then you create the statement, and the role of connection is done. So you can do something like, you can only get the connection, but it's apart, right? So it becomes a very clean code, right? You are not doing repetitive work again and again. Now what you need, whenever you need connection, get the connection, get the statement, write a SQL query and execute it, get the data, or insert or update or delete, right? So this is it for today. Tomorrow I will be covering this delete, update, and all these things. Is that okay? Fine. Any questions so far? No, you should ask questions if you have any issues. It's like a very silent session. I don't get questions. Nobody responds. So I don't know. Generally, it becomes interactive. It becomes useful, right? If anybody has some doubt, anybody, I think. So great, fine. We'll catch up tomorrow then.